Now.
Other news we're following.
Operation from the White House.
And we have to wake up.
Not guilty.
The raw, unadulterated truth.
It's time for news from around the world and in our community.
News update.
Hey, I'm Rick Party. It is time for Rick Party's Notebook, news from around the world and in our communities, from my perspective.
Wake up! This morning I got a little something for you here.
Today, we see pain, hurt, and destruction in the ashes of wildfires and the damage of Hurricane Laura. We encourage everyone to continue following guidance from your local authorities to stay safe. And Joe and I pledge to be there for those whose lives have been turned upside down.
Kamala Harris sounding really vice presidential. I love it. This sister, from what it appears, has atoned for her mistakes and is really ready to take on this role as vice president if Joe Biden is elected. She's talking about the issues that really matter to us, from Hurricane Laura to this, the shooting of Jacob Blake.
We also see pain, hurt, and destruction in the aftermath of yet another black man shot by police. Jacob Blake, shot 7 times in the back in broad daylight in front of his 3 young sons. As Vice President Biden put it, the shots fired at Mr. Blake pierced the soul of our nation.
This is the kind of compassion that we need in the White House. Speaking of Kenosha, Wisconsin, there's a gunman who shot and killed 2 people. Here's what the police chief had the audacity to say about the 2 people who were killed.
Persons who were out after the curfew became engaged in some type of disturbance, and persons were shot. Everybody involved was out after the curfew. I'm not going to make a great deal of that, but the point is the curfew's in place to protect. Had persons not been out involved in violation of that, perhaps the situation that unfolded would not have happened.
I don't know about you, but for me, that doesn't quite sit well. That was Kenosha, Wisconsin Police Chief Daniel Miskini's. He appeared to blame the victims, not the gunmen, but the victims, for breaking curfew while they were protesting. 2 white men, if you will, that were shot and killed by another white man, a gunman. Kyle Rittenhouse is only 17 years old. He was arrested. He wasn't even from Kenosha, Wisconsin. In fact, he was from Antioch, Illinois, 20 miles from Kenosha. From what we see in the video, the 2 men were protesting the shooting of Jacob Blake, the black man who was shot point blank 7 times in his back as he was going to his car to get away from police. Now, there were days of protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Kyle Rittenhouse and a bunch of militia people decided, hey, we're going to go to Kenosha and patrol the streets. Now, they had the National Guard troops from Arizona, Michigan, Alabama, and Wisconsin. So why did they need this guy and anyone else guarding the streets? Of course, they're all looking for trouble, and they got it. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse, this 17-year-old, I don't know how in the world he was able to walk past police after shooting these 2 men. They'd assume that maybe it's some black guys, not this young little white guy with a long rifle across his body. Well, he was arrested and he's been charged with first-degree homicide. And the White House has yet to mention the shooting of Jacob Blake. That's all I've got for now. News from around the world and in our communities from my perspective. I'm Rick Party with Rick Party's Notebook.
Everybody